whether I should PM it to you. And then I thought, your mum and dad are on Facebook. I'd better PM it.
So,
Smith and Jones.
We're done with Inappropriate Elephants.
Yeah.
Welcome to our Doctor Who Smith and Jones review. This is officially Series 3, Episode 1, but it comes after The Runaway Bride, which you could argue is part of Series 3 since it's post-Rose and all that kind of stuff. And it's, as you can see from the picture behind me, it's quite a famous one because it's the one where we first meet the Judoon.
We love the Judoon.
Which, of course, is voiced by Nicholas Briggs, who was on our Doctor Who Legacy show a few weeks ago, and he actually did an impression of a Judoon.
Which is pretty awesome.
He actually did the code of the week in the style of a Judoon. He was like, 1, 3, 4, 5, 7, 4. And it was very cool. He told us about the story, how that came from the voice and all that kind of stuff. This is our review. We'll have a couple of special guests on in a minute, and we'll be kind of talking. When I say special guests, I mean some of you guys really will be coming up.
They're the specialist guests of them all.
Everyone's special. Everyone's special. We don't want any more of those celebrities. We want Justin.
Justin's a celeb.
And Dashi.
Dashi's definitely a celeb.
I think Justin might actually be Justin Bieber.
Really?
I reckon he's like one of those celebrities like who wants to kind of be a bit incognito when he's online.
So he's gone for Justin.
So he grows a large ginger beard and hides it.
Right. And is Dashi one of Santa's reindeer gone incognito?
No, don't be silly. He's in E17.
I don't get it, sorry.
That's not a joke. He's just in E17. That was it.
Can I have a menstrual, please?
No.
Can I have a canter, please?
You can. But before
you object to people calling you pedantic.
But before you can have one, tell us what you think about Smith and Jones.
I think it's very good.
Okay.
Can I go now?
Good chat. Thanks for coming to our Doctor Who review show. What did you like about it?
Thing number one.
That was an inappropriate elephant.
Yes. And that elephant decided it didn't like the way of hand holding anymore.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I liked...
Slip down.
I love the Judoon.
What do I love?
The reason I like them is this. It's not ever kind of entirely clear to what extent they're goodies or baddies.
Mm-hmm.
They are baddies, obviously. They have... What they do is pretty bad. I mean, after zooming the hospital up to the moon, they do leave it there.
They're more like really incompetent policemen.
I'd say negligent.
Okay, sure.
But yeah. But they're not your typical bad guy out to get everybody. Or person trying to take over the world. They're just trying to do their job.
And it makes them more interesting as characters and stuff. And they've got this lovely kind of sense of being incredible. I mean, the Rhino choice is brilliant because it summarises this wonderful, I am incredibly powerful and bloody stupid.
Yeah.
Kind of persona, and they get
thuggish, but not particularly clever with it.
And like they have this wonderful little tool, which is obviously very clever, that kind of scans them to find out where they're from, and then they use a marker.
I love that bit when he just holds out his hand, and you're like, oh my goodness, what's he going to do? What's he going to do? And then gets a black permanent marker and marks next. My standout moment. Crap, I lost my train of thought. What's my train of thought? Oh yeah, I got it. My standout moment is where they double scan Martha because the doctor's just kissed her.
Yeah.
And so she's got a trace of non-human blood or non-human whatever it
Yeah.
is on her. So they do a double scan. And then they award her compensation.
Compensation, yeah.
So you're kind of like, is this a bad guy? Is this a good guy? I don't quite know what's going on.
Yeah, they are. They're really good characters because they're obviously a character where someone's going to thought, right, how can we have an episode that's not just another good guy, another bad guy? What would be interesting? Or how about the Doctor gets caught in an intergalactic criminal hunt? Because that's effectively what it is. They're caught in a criminal investigation between aliens. It just happens to kind of take place on Earth, and the hospital going to the moon is a nice little trick. And I like the way they're kind of like, well, it's because Earth hasn't got jurisdiction there, and it's it all kind of works from a plotline point of view. And
it was our introduction to Martha. What did you think? Because obviously we know Martha now. We've seen the whole series. What did you think of her introduction on second viewing? I
think what really came across with Martha was how kind she was.
Mm.
Like, how when you first meet Amy, the main kind of thing you come away with is that she's just a little bit of a whore. And when you first kind of meet Rose, it's kind of that she's she's kind of courageous. you know, type thing. And they've all got the thing. And with Martha, it was just that she was just really kind. You know, she was, you know, when you first meet her, she's trying to sort out some family problems. Those noises might go into the mic.
Oh, sorry.
She's trying to sort out some kind of family problems, and then you meet, and later on, obviously she's a doctor because she's quite, you know, which is a very altruistic kind of career, and she's the one later that's still trying to help patients, even though things have kind of, you know, she's this very, very kind person.
That's a nice way of looking at her.
Which unfortunately might be one of the reasons why she ends up in the friend zone. With I mean, she's totally friend zoned.
She's completely friend zoned
because she's nice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Martha's main downfall is that she's not Rose for the Doctor, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he's on the rebound, and he's kind of doing. He's not. He's kind of on the rebound, but instead of doing that thing where he like sleeps with the next person because he's on the rebound, it's more like no one else will match up.
Yeah.
And her character, obviously through the series, as we'll see as we carry on doing these reviews, she goes through a character arc of being of Doctor to soldier. Really, I think is her end kind of result, which isn't a million miles away from what Clara ends up doing. Although she kind of goes from computer nerd to Doctor, but you know, I think it was a good introduction to her, and I think she carries herself really well, and she leaves you wanting to kind of see more of her. I think. What do you think?
Yeah, I hadn't ever really thought about the fact that she is just a generally nice person. She at the time wasn't my favourite companion. Mm-hmm. Well, she's not my favourite still. I kind of thought that she kind of lacked some of the substance that Rose had. Mm-hmm. But now watching it, also it's kind of not an attractive quality being desperately in love with the Doctor. Mm-hmm. But watching it back, I do like her more kind of second round.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, she's introduced to someone who's quite clever because she is a doctor, isn't she? Yeah. And as she points out to the Doctor, it's a title that has to be earned.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Pippin.
So yeah, she's got that kind of clever problem-solving side, and that's what attracts the Doctor to her, albeit be it in a more platonic sense than she wants.
Yeah, and you can see that he's impressed by her a couple of times, and that's why he goes back. And yeah, we've talked. Me and Claire have talked about Martha a few times, and we might have even mentioned it on stream. Sorry, that she's very much scripted to be not Rose, and I think even the audience's affections are designed to not be quite as affectionate towards her. But then in the canon, she's actually very important for the ongoing plot line.
I think also, obviously, she leaves the Doctor when he asks her to continue coming, and she says, "No, I can't do it anymore." I can't do it anymore. Yeah. And that makes you respect her more. So kind of knowing how she ends, I think, makes you respect the beginning a little bit more as well.
Yeah. And also, of course, I mean, we're going away from Smith and Jones here, but she is part of one of the best series of Doctor Who, I would argue.
100%,
There's so much good stuff in series 3, especially the second half. Is just outstanding. But this was good as well. Let's talk some more about this one. So, guys, let me ask you guys and use I'm gonna blank the question, all the questions. So everything's disappeared. So what did you like about this episode? Let's go for the positives. What did we like about it? Use exclamation mark, question, space. Tell me some stuff you liked, and we'll read some of them out. I'm going to bring Justin on in a second. So, Justin, if you can mute your stream, and I will call you in about 60 seconds' time. So get yourself ready, please. And oh, he's on highlighted. Brilliant. So we'll bring him on in a second. What did I like? Actually, before we get onto the likes, there was something I spotted.
Ah, yes, I remember. You looked at me and went, uh-huh.
There was a bit where the Doctor's in. I think he's in the hospital, and obviously he's pretending to be a patient, and which he justifies a little bit later. And then he says, and then Martha comes up and says, "Oh, I saw you before," because he does a little time trick at the end where he goes back in the timeline and does a cheap trick. And she says, "Oh, I saw you this morning," and he says, "No, you didn't." And she says, "No, I did." And then she says, "Well, have you got a brother?" And he says, "No, not anymore."
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Now, obviously, I've watched some classic, but not a lot of classic, and I'm just wondering what references there have been to the Doctor's family. Because obviously, in Listen, we saw possibly a glimpse of the Doctor's parents at one point, and we know the Doctor has a granddaughter, but I don't know if sorry,
and a daughter,
and yeah, that kind of her kind of half daughter thing. And a reference to a brother, not anymore. And of course, obviously with timey-wimey, that could be around here and there. I mean, obviously he has a very strong link with the Master, and I don't know if there's ever been a hint that the Master is more than a relative. I don't know if that's ever been kind of hinted at. But that would be an interesting avenue to explore.
Now, I did watch an interview with, it was one of the writers, and now I can't remember which one it was.
Russell T?
It might have been, but I wouldn't put money on it.
Did he have like a kind of a strange afro but on a white hair?
I know what Russell T looks like. I just can't remember whether. I love the way that we're calling him Russell T as well.
Hey, Russ T.
I can't remember which one of the writers it was, but one of the questions they were asked was how much they plan stuff in advance, and how much they build on what was previously there. Mm-hmm. And he said that they do plan things, but they also like to leave openings.
Right.
And sometimes they'll go back and fill those openings, and sometimes they won't go back and fill those openings.
For a future writer to pick a thread up.
Exactly. So it might be, as you know, I've not watched lots of classic Who. We've watched some, but we haven't watched them all. So perhaps there is references to brothers or a brother previously, but it might be a potential opening for another writer to pick up on at some point. Because the thing is that if he had answered that question and said, no, I don't have a brother, then that kills any
possibilities of a future brother. Whereas not anymore just means something happens.
Not anymore means we could mention this again or we can never mention it again.
Yeah.
We've got it open either way.
Which is nice. Right, let's bring on Justin to join us. I'm just going to call him there.
It's your Skype picture every time.
My Skype picture is awesome. Let me reenact the Skype picture.
Yeah, that's it.
Great picture.
Yeah.
I love the picture. Hang on, Justin, I can't hear you, and I don't know why. Have you muted your own microphone? I know you've muted the stream, but have you muted your own microphone? Because I can't hear you. Yeah, you're not sending anything.
Maybe he's not talking. Maybe he's just miming.
He could be. I think he can hear me. Now you're not sending any sound because I can see I can see my voice thing and there's nothing coming through. So just check your microphone. There might be a button in front of you that has a mute button on it. Is it clicked to say muted? Is your microphone plugged into the computer?
Do you have a microphone?
Do you own a microphone? Okay, we're having a few technical difficulties with microphones there, Justin. So why don't you if I go and speak to Justin first, have a little play with your microphone, maybe do a test call, something like that, and we'll bring you back on afterwards. We'll give it a go then. All right, Justin, thanks a lot. I'll catch you later on. Hopefully Dashy's ready to go. Do you think Dashy will be ready extra fast?
In a dash. Dashy doesn't have a Skype pic.
Dashy does not have a Skype pic. Dashy, why do you not have a Skype pic?
Because I cannot find the original picture of Mario riding Yoshi whilst wearing a cape.
While wearing
a cape.
You know, the thing that makes him fly.
Yeah, no, I understand.
From the feather.
Yeah, no, I do not need schooling on the things that Mario swallows when he rides Yoshi.
No, I've played Mario with you, you do.
That's because I always get confused with why you suddenly need a swallow button. Well, name me one other game where you need a swallow button, apart from Kirby.
Don't Starve?
Oh, yeah, fair one. Fair enough, lots of games have a swallow button. Hey, Dashy, have you got a swallow button?
I'm not sure how to answer that.
Yeah, probably best you don't. Let's talk about the show instead.
Smith and Jones. What do you think?
Good. Very good overall.
It's so much fun, isn't it? What are your highlights?
My highlights, well, it perfectly introduced Martha. Within like the first 5 minutes, it told you who she is, what her job is, what her life is like currently before she meets the Doctor.
It was interesting, isn't it? Because when the very first episode of the reboot, Rose, starts off with, 5 minutes of Rose. Rose's life, Rose's job, etc., etc. And then this one is almost like a series reset, isn't it? Because you don't start off with the Doctor. You see almost the whole episode from Martha's perspective. In fact, maybe even the whole episode from Martha's perspective. Mm-hmm. And it's almost like, here we go again. Someone else encounters the Doctor.
Yeah, I will agree with that. I also enjoyed Tennant's flippancy. How he can just basically switch from smart to sort of casual funny to a flippant loony when he's in front of what's her name, the Plasmavore. When he's talking about when he just makes up a story about being a postman on the spot.
Yeah. Well, Clara, you said at one point, 2 points actually, that you wanted to punch him in the face. Did you?
That makes me sound kind of violent.
Well, no. That's fine. The Pope the other day said it was okay to sometimes punch people in the face. So
Did he? I didn't know that. What was his
he said if someone offends your mother, it's okay to punch them in the face.
Someone offends your mother.
Yeah. Let's not get too distracted. Why did you wish to punch Tennant?
Okay, you know I love the 10th Doctor.
You love the 10th Doctor.
But he is a little bit on the arrogant look. You even got my fist of pure emotion in there.
And a head of shattered dreams.
He is a little bit arrogant, and he is particularly arrogant in this episode. And I guess I kind of feel for Martha being so unrequited. And I've always kind of been like, oh, yeah, no, but he's just not interested. But in this episode, he kind of courts it a bit.
He flirts outrageously with her in this episode. Especially, I mean, I'd forgotten it. If you haven't rewatched it before this stream, then shame on you. But it's the bottom of the end, isn't it? You know, he's waiting for Martha, and he's standing up against this wall, like that, and then Martha kind of sees him, and he kind of just gives her this little look, and then slinks away behind the wall, and it's like, oh dear God.
I wouldn't call Tennant's performance arrogant. I would say it's more assuming, because he assumes Martha knows how to work things, even though she's a student there. Main example being, was it the radiotherapy machine? I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he does assert his authority. I mean, especially with that woman who basically just breaks down on the moon. Basically said, no, she'll slow us down. And Martha's like, okay, bye.
The Doctor's treatment of Martha is not great. I can see Teganator there saying Tennant is a complete jerk to Martha, and Agniti saying, so true. Tiny saying he told her from the beginning he wasn't interested.
Yeah, see, I was with you on that one, Tiny. He did tell her from the beginning that he wasn't interested, but then he kind of continues to act like he is interested. Playing
all those hard-to-get aliens,
I know, those hard-to-get aliens.
Hard-to-get aliens.
He does need company in the TARDIS. I mean, if it was just the Doctor, it would be pretty boring.
What do you think about the Plasmavore enemy? The big, the what's the word? Enemy, the villain of the
I'd
piece.
say I thought it was really unique the way they did it. I mean, just a case of, here's the villain. We clearly point her out straight away, and we'll see how she goes. I mean, especially with Tennant rebounding off her as well, so brilliantly. I mean, even when she's not there, I mean, with the slabs as well. It's a case of, she's hired these things.
Pure leather.
Oh, somebody has a fetish, or somebody has got a fetish.
But I thought the plasma was good fun, and it was one of those nice ones again that you don't need a scary mask and loads of blood to be scary. You just need something to get in people's heads, and in this case, it's someone kind of just pulling out a straw. And
see, I think for me, those kind of enemies are the scariest enemies because you don't walk around and see great big giant things with 8 heads and tentacles and stuff like that.
But little old ladies with straws.
Little old ladies with straws, you can see that.
You can see that. And yeah, she was vicious as well. And she I don't know who the actress is at all, but she
Anne
was.
Reid.
And well done, but she was scarily believable.
She was.
And maybe it's good that I don't see her in other things, but she acted it very, very well, was genuinely kind of chilling. And when she said, she didn't care about the people of this planet, it was, you kind of believed her. It was good. I also liked the way they beat them as well. The clever, sucking of the blood out. Therefore she was recognised by the Jadoon was quite a clever little twist. I wasn't quite so keen, if I have to nitpick, I wasn't quite so keen on the Doctor having his blood sucked out and then getting brought back by CPR. I know that's me being a complete pedantic person, but one wouldn't cure the other.
An extra bit of oxygen in your lungs doesn't mean that you've got a body full of blood.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But I think if we had Spud on stream at this point, I'm sure we'd be like, "I told you, it doesn't bring back blood." But Dash, was there anything you weren't so keen on in the episode?
Not really, and that's very rare for me. I enjoyed this.
Well, that's a stamp of approval.
I really enjoyed it throughout. I mean, you had characters you were designed to hate throughout the episode. You empathised with Martha. You hated her father's girlfriend. It's a case of they instantly set out the stalls straight away within the first 10 seconds of you seeing them. So it's a case of, okay, I'm designed to hate this guy, hate this woman, like this guy, feel a little bit unsure about Martha's mother, and the Jadoon, I'm not sure. I mean, seeing them as they've appeared later on in the series, and the way Tennant has described them later on in the series, I believe he described them, I think it was either this one or the season with Donna as thugs for hire.
That was this one.
Yeah, thugs.
Yeah.
But the only other time we meet them, I think, they're at the Shadow Proclamation, which I think is that right? So therefore, which would imply police force.
That would. That would be next season with Donna. But I just think currently the Jadoon are like go back to a classic enemy of sorts, the Ogrons. They're like Ogron 2.0. Because the Ogrons were essentially mercenaries for hire, and they did similar things to the Jadoon.
But the Jadoon are so much cute. I mean, come on, they're rhinos. They're rhinos.
Cute, though. Are they
cute?
But,
well, okay. Compared to the Ogrons, yes, they are cute.
but cool. A great. It is a really fun episode. It's not one of those episodes that's like, it's not like Midnight or Blink that it kind of gets you psychologically, and it's not like one of those ones that's got a massive space battle. I do think it's memorable,
though. I have remembered it.
Yeah, but I agree. I remember, Hospital on the Moon. People often say, "Oh, it's that one," and the Jadoon are memorable. So I think it introduces all the characters really well. It's a good fun series opener as well, isn't it? Because you want a series opener not to be the one that makes you cry or the one that makes you, the biggest space battler is. It's the one that leaves you. It's the one that should leave you wanting more. And this episode really does, through a mixture of creative ideas, jokes, a new character, a new companion, and hey, Tennant's wearing blue.
Yeah, you said that you didn't think he was blue till later on.
In my head, he goes blue in series 4, but he's wearing it right here, so I must be wrong. Dashi?
I'm not entirely sure because I didn't really pay attention to what Tennant was wearing.
Oh, well, no, why are you here?
Because I enjoyed the episode. This was it's a stall setup. It's setting up the stall for the entire series because it gives you a little bit of everything. You get the slight, the emotional damage with Martha in terms of how her life is going around it, and you could tell that it may carry on throughout the series. You've got Tennant being Tennant, still remembering a bit about Rose, but looking forward to the future, and being a little bit flippant. I mean, barefoot on the moon. One of my favourite lines.
And he clacks his teeth together. When every time he does it, I try to recreate it and I can't. He goes, "Didn't he go barefoot on the moon?" And does that with his teeth. He does it so loud. They must have added that in afterwards. Oh no, Clara can do it. Do that on the mic.
Yep, I clearly heard that.
I can't. I'm like, oh my god, my teeth will shatter. Anyway, Dashi, thank you for joining us again. Always a pleasure to have you here.
Always a pleasure to be here.
And we'll see if we can get Justin on. Thanks a lot, mate. Take care. Let's have a little read about what you guys said, and then I'll ask you guys another question. Real Taken said, "I liked the tie thing, although it was terribly obvious."
I liked the tie thing as well. I have to admit that was quite.
The tie thing.
It was a cheap trick, as the Doctor said himself, but it was quite cool.
It was cool, and I like the way they waited right the way till the end to draw that loop as well. And I also like this. I know this is a silly thing, but I liked the fact that they didn't flashback. He just walks into the TARDIS and he comes back out and goes, "Told you," and so you have to remember it.
And for a split second, you're like, "What the hell is he talking about?" And then you're like, "Oh, of course, the tie." Wait a second, that is. No, sorry, Gav.
Blue Tech says, "I like the fact that it was on the moon, and when the Doctor talks to the Jadoon, did the Doctor really talk to the Jadoon? He runs from at one point. He talks about the Jadoon.
He certainly talks about them.
Does he actually talk to them?
He tells Martha to keep them busy while he goes and.
I think maybe right at the end. But no, because he doesn't wake up until after they've gone. It's actually Martha does that. Emmy Skarma says, "I saw some clips from that episode and I think it's hilarious about the 10th Doctor's screwdriver." Yeah, he breaks his screwdriver, but he gets another one, so he's okay. Mauji Shri says, in reference to our only conversation, "At one point they were considering the Master being the Doctor's half-brother when they brought 8 in, but they changed it. I think they meant Brax. He's mentioned, I believe, in the audio dramas or the classics. Can't remember each. I don't think... I mean, obviously, I think... I've heard that in one of the audio adventures it's revealed that he is the Doctor's half-brother, but I think it would be very difficult to do that because you'd mention it. He'd be talking all the time about, you're my brother, and all that kind of stuff. And also... I know they can regenerate, but surely if he was actually his brother, he'd sense him more? You know how Tom Lord... Well, they have a little bit of ESP or...
What? Right, next time Kren's on.
I can always sense Kren, mainly because of the smell. The channel just goes a little bit more camp when he's around. But yeah, Martha listening to the Doctor's Hearts was good.
Yeah,
that was super smarmy, the heart being like, and then a little bit more. Check the other one.
I'm not sure about the Doctor winking.
I'm not sure about her medical thing because she measures both hearts, and then rather than going, "Dear God, this man is having a serious issue right now," he winks at her, she smiles, and they all walk off.
Yeah, you do worry about the NHS.
You do worry about the NHS. I was sitting there with 2 hearts. Doctor just spotted it and gone, well, that was cute. Cutie. Little 2-hearted guy. Agniti says Tennant's Baker is showing in this one a little bit. I didn't see his Baker. I mean, his trousers were quite tight, but I didn't see his Baker.
Ha ha. I don't think I know enough about Baker to be able to agree or disagree with that.
Smugness would be my guess.
Okay.
Web24247 says this episode sets up Martha as a character that is someone who takes care of everyone but herself.
Aww.
She is the mediator in her family, and as the season goes on, she continues. Did you get this from the series bio? This is really well written. As the season goes on, she continues to take care of the Doctor, who overlooks her and disregards her needs. You need to write a guest post for the website. Get writing and go writing, okay? Great. What did you not like about the episode, or what else can we get people to write in? Because I don't think we're going to get much that people didn't like. It's a pretty good episode.
Standout moment?
Yeah, cool. Standout moment, or something you didn't like, or a standout moment, or your favourite quote, or tell us something else about the episode, and we'll see you again if we can get Justin on. Let's give that a go. And I've cleared the questions again, so if anyone's written anything, I'll need to do that again. I'm going to try and call Justin for the second time.
Will he answer?
Hello, Eddie. Hi, Posse.
Hey, we can hear him. There we go.
Sorry, is the audio
Fixed on the
setting
second
selection?
Sorry?
It was the setting on audio selection on whether Skype was getting USB port or other source.
Well done for sorting in. It's great to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me on.
So, Smith and Jones, we've talked about loads of the stuff we liked and stuff. What did you like about the episode?
Overall, I thought the episode was a phenomenal way to introduce Martha, and I apologize if I repeat some of the stuff that was already said earlier, because I had this written out.
Go for it. Go for it.
I think it was a phenomenal way to introduce Martha to the viewers and show her intelligence and quick wit as to whatever situation she was thrust into, because of not only how she handled herself, but being a true equal to the Doctor and being in those situations, and not just the name of being a doctor, whether it's her being called the Doctor or him the Doctor. She really... It was
a nice little touch, that the Doctor thing, isn't it? Because effectively they are both doctors, which, like you said, it affects the balance of their relationship. It's not...
yeah.
Although I'd actually say it's the same with all of the companions in the new stuff. Like, people often say that in the original ones that the assistants were kind of ones that just ran around screaming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But actually, I'd say, with the possible exception of Clara a little bit in the first time we meet Clara, that actually all of the assistants have had their own strengths. Whether it's Rose's bravery or Martha's intelligence or Donna's...
Right.
I don't know.
She never lost her cool.
Feistiness.
Even after being kissed by him, she never lost her cool. It was just like, oh, kiss me.
Would you have lost your cool if you were kissed by him? That was more. What else do you think?
I think the effects were really interesting, especially the reverse rain in regards to being on the moon. And having an older person cast as a villain reinforced that you don't judge a book by its cover, or even the looks of an alien. Having the Doctor go back...
she looks like a little old lady, doesn't she?
With a straw.
Yeah. Having the Doctor go back at the end of the episode, also to show her the necktie, also reinforced in my mind the proof of the timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly, yes, I am indeed an alien Time Lord, but there are indeed rules that can't interfere in regards to established elements, except for cheap tricks. The bigger
I like the little line where she says what's
Could you have a camera, please?
she says, what species are you? And he says, Time Lord. And then she kind of looks at him and goes, arrogant or what? Which is true. I mean, Time Lord is a ridiculously arrogant name for a species. I mean, imagine if we call ourselves, human gods. Or, it is a really arrogant name. And she quite correctly calls him out on it.
And her reaction in regards to the whole bigger on the inside, it was classic reaction by all companions. And I believe this might have also been the first mention of Saxon in the series for the Master, too. And it was just great.
I think there was a sneaky little one before in the Christmas special. We reviewed Runaway Bride last week, and right at the end there's a guy with a tank, and he says, "On the orders of Mr. Saxon, fire." But it's just like a little line. But it's the first one in Series 3, for sure.
And it was just great, really great to hear Nicholas as the voice, is especially rehearing him do it after seeing the stream with him doing it for us. And it was just amazing.
I've actually still got Nicholas on my Skype, and like, so I can see him like logging on and logging off, and like every time he kind of logs on, I'm sitting there going to go, don't call. I just want to kind of phone him up and go, kind of like, remember me, do the Jadoon. And he's so nice, bless him. He probably would be like, I am going to, I remove you now from my Skype. You are blocked. Click or something. I don't know, but it would be. It was very cool to meet Nicholas. Was there anything you disliked about the episode?
I think overall, I really enjoyed the episode. I think sometimes the pace could have been better, but there are other episodes that it just dragged on where you go, where is it going?
Mm-hmm. It starts speedily, you know, with the Donna kind of, Martha kind of running in, doing all her family stuff, lots of quick camera cuts. I think it's important that an episode has pace, but also that every so often it stops and breathes as well, and you get character development, because otherwise it just becomes an action show, and it's not. It's Doctor Who. It needs to have elements of both. So I think pace is always a very, very difficult thing to get right. But I liked it. Any final thoughts, Justin?
I thought the establishment of Martha's family conflict and introducing all the characters right off the bat really helped pre-establish their relationship for further episodes like the Lazarus one, where you see all the members of her family. You didn't have to go back and revisit and get reintroduced to them.
I agree. The episode not only was a fun episode, it was also a very useful episode of introducing a lot of characters and a lot of threads that would be picked up later in that series. So
lots of fun.
So bravo, I say, to Russell T. He puts that episode together really well. Thank you so much for joining us, Justin. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on.
Thank you for having me.
This time audibly. And take care, mate. I'll see you soon.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Let's take a couple of more of your comments. Dash's favourite moment was, "You are right, I look silly with one shoe on." Joshua McCrow's favourite moment was, "Barefoot on the moon." Tabby Tenner's favourite moment was how the Doctor recruits Martha. I wonder if she means the bit where the beginning where they meet, or whether she means the bit right at the end when he gets her to join. I liked the bit where they first meet, the bit where he's, you know, there's the two doctors standing together, and one of Martha's being all kind of strong, and the other one's freaking out, and the Doctor kind of turns to her and says, "Right, you come with me, not you. You'll slow us down," just pointing in this like scared woman's face. So harsh. Martha asking good questions was real Tegan. It's interesting, isn't it, with Doctor Who, just how important the companions are, because almost tonight exclusively we've talked about Martha, haven't we? You know, when Dashi came on, his first reaction was, well, it talks about Martha's character. And when Justin came on, he said, well, it establishes Martha's character. And the first thing we talked about was how it establishes Martha's character. And you'd have to think that without we always kind of say, you know, who's your favourite Doctor and who's your favourite, you know, who's your Doctor? And we talk about, you know, Lee liking the eighth and people fancying the 10th and all that kind of stuff. But the companions make or break the show, possibly even more, because, you know, when Amy, you know, you guys know I don't like Amy very much, but, you know, I really didn't like that series, and Amy was a big part of that. So maybe we should go turn over a new leaf and stop saying, you know, who's your favourite Doc, and start saying who's your favourite comp. Yeah, you know, who's with me? Hands in. Firebolt Vista 88 says, hearing the Jadoon speak for the first time made me go, Nicholas Briggs? Which is true, which is very, very cool. So, have to say, a very, very good episode, and looks like we all enjoyed it. So, next week we need to watch the Shakespeare episode, which I've completely forgotten the actual title of. Shakespeare in Love? Although that's probably a film with something else. Shake the Spear? I don't know. I'm not sure what it's called, but you know the one I mean. So that's the one we need to watch from last time. It looks like Lab's saying in the chat that Saxton was mentioned earlier in other episodes as well. So good. So have a watch a bit of Shakespeare for next week, and I'll hopefully see you then. Obviously, loads of our streams will be taking place before then, and there's loads of stuff on YouTube for you guys to watch. And of course, we've got some welcomes to the posses to do as well. So I'm going to take a commercial, refill a drink, see how Izzy and Clary are doing, and hopefully we'll be back in a minute to welcome 4 new members to the posse, which will be very, very cool. All right, catch you in a minute. Bye-bye.